1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody.
Good afternoon, or morning, or evening, depending on where you are at on planet Earth. I am Bruce Leonard, of course. Thank you for tuning in to another hour of Bruce Leonard Leans Left, while it's still legal. Still legal today. A lot going on. Welcome to an early, maybe truncated version of the show, because I am taking Laura to see The Lion King this evening. And if you follow me on Facebook, you might notice that I haven't been there. I'm locked out of my Facebook account. I don't know why or how. So I guess I'm at war with Zuckerberg again. If you're not aware, I was banned for life already once. But now they look like they're working on it again. Maybe, I don't know. I'm locked out. I can't get in. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. I don't know. And and of course, no warnings, no like, hey, you're about to get locked out. Like, no, just kicked out, locked out, couldn't log back in. Had to take a picture of my face from 360-degree angle and send it to them so they could prove that it's really me. It's like I haven't been there for years. And it's not that account's not connected to my Instagram account, which is also a Meta account. I don't know how any of this works. They don't know it's me somehow. So all day yesterday, I got no notifications or anything from my Facebook account. I was just locked out, and it was empty. And then today, I started getting all kinds of notifications. All my backed up, now it's hundreds. It's like, oh, you got all these notifications. I get emails like, hey, you got a lot of notifications and you haven't logged back in. It's like, well, it's because you're not letting me log in. Do they even know what the fuck is going on? It's like, is Trump running Facebook? It's like, what? It's like they don't know what's going on. I don't know. But anyway, so Trump, remember when we were talking in the last episode, Trump had a deal, said he had a deal. Then everybody said they didn't know anything about this deal. And now they're saying there may be a deal, it might be close. And then Trump says today, oh, they're going to sign it tomorrow. And he wants to make them sign it tomorrow because you know what tomorrow is, right? Tomorrow's Trump's birthday. Coincidentally. So he wants to force him to sign it on his birthday so he can sign this deal and then have a UFC fight. But then Iran said that they're not signing this deal tomorrow, so we don't know what's going to happen. Meanwhile, the courts ordered that his name be taken off the Kennedy Center by midnight last night. So, hey, Laura. So they waited all the way up till midnight. Then they took it off. Well, they said they took it off. I mean, they say it's off. But then they put up a big tarp in front of it so you can't see anything. So Trump's being a little baby again about it. Like, well, his name's off, but you can't see the wall with his name off because he knows that everybody wants to see the wall with his name off. So he covered it up with a tarp like a little bitch. What's up, Brennan? Anyway, so he says there's a deal and they're going to sign it tomorrow. But then he put out this truth, which I want to read to you because of all the crazy things that Donald Trump has ever said, this might be the craziest thing ever. And of course, no one's covered it like it's not a big deal. But let me read this to you. He just put it out 11:45 a.m. this morning. It says, Barack Hussein Obama's deal with Iran, the JCPOA, was an easy, beautiful, smooth road to a nuclear weapon, which Iran would have had 6 years ago and would have used long before now. My agreement with Iran is the exact opposite. A wall to no nuclear weapon. In fact, they no longer want a nuclear weapon, nor will they have one, either through purchase, development, or any other form of procurement. The deal is scheduled to get signed tomorrow, questionably. And immediately after it is signed, the Hormuz Strait is open to all. Our relationship with Iran is a much different and better one than previous administrations have had. This is after bombing the shit out of them several times. Which the other administrations did not do, by the way. Unlike Barack Obama's hundreds of billions of dollars in payments to them, including $1.7 billion in green cold cash, no money will exchange hands. At the appropriate time, when all is calm, we will go in and get the nuclear dust buried deep under the powerful sunken granite mountains, thanks to our beautiful B-2 bombers and their brilliant pilots, and down blend and destroy it, whether in Iran or in the United States. We look forward to working with Iran and the entire Middle East long into the future. Hopefully this process will all work out quickly, easily, and smoothly. Here it comes. If it doesn't, we have the ultimate alternative, hopefully never to be used again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So, his contention is this, that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon because they'll use it. And if they don't do what Donald Trump wants, he will use his. Like I said, I think that might be one of the craziest things he's ever said. Well, beyond bombing your civilization to the back to the Stone Age. I mean, that's the same kind of threat, don't you believe? So he's using his nuclear weapons to tell them that they can't have a nuclear weapon. Which, like I said before, they don't even really need anymore, do they? Now they have the Strait of Hormuz. They don't really need nuclear weapons, do they? Because you see, I was just watching a thing I was telling you about the other day about the 25,000, where we're down to 25 million barrels of oil in the Oklahoma Reserve. And if it gets to 20, you can't use any of the oil because it turns to sludge because there's not enough pressure to pump it. And they were showing these tanks and tanks and tanks of oil, storage tanks that were empty. The roofs are designed to float on top of the oil, and they're all down. So Trump, like I said, Trump is acting tough, but Trump is in a hard place because if we run out of that oil in the reserve and you can't pump any more oil, they said the price of oil will skyrocket and gas will be $6 a gallon or more. Trump got played. And he's in the corner. He has to make a deal now. So for him to be pretending like he's forcing some action, no, they're forcing the action. Only they're not on Twitter blustering and talking shit about it because they don't have to. They're the ones that have the fucking leverage. No matter what he wants to say. That's why he's getting all desperate, threatening his nuclear weapons. Now, we'll see if they sign the deal tomorrow. If I was the Iranians, I would tell them, no, I'm going to sign it on Monday. Even if they were going to sign it, I wouldn't sign it tomorrow just because he wants them to, and it's his birthday. Because that's what he wants. It's a reality TV show. That's what I'm saying. It's the ultimate reality TV show episode where he signs and stops the war, and then he goes to the UFC fights on the White House lawn. Laura says, no matter what he's doing, all of us working class people are drowning. Yes, that is true. I mean, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't give one fuck about that. He's having a UFC fight and selling $12,000 coins with his face on it. Listen to this, right? You hear something really funny? Remember when he got the Trump phones? He was right. You decided to sell Trump phones, and for a while he didn't have a Trump phone. And he just took everybody's money and didn't have it. But then the story started coming out about why there's no Trump phone. So then they said, "Okay, the Trump phone's coming," which was promised to be made in America. Then when everybody got it, it was like, "Oh, this is a Chinese phone, right?" It's just a Chinese phone painted gold. And then they changed what it said for where it was going to be made in America to say it was designed with American values in mind. The fuck does that mean? This Chinese phone was designed the American values in mind, which is what? The American values of manufacturing some cheap ass shit in China and selling it to you for fucking full prices. So in that respect, I guess that they are correct. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire. I know you heard that. Right? People invested $1 trillion into a company that loses money. You explain to me how that works. I haven't figured out the complexities of the market because it doesn't make any sense. Milo says, if I could time travel once, would I go to the past or see your future? I think seeing your future is dangerous. So I would, and plus I love history, so I probably go with the past. But like I said, I think seeing your future is dangerous. You can fuck up your future if you see it. It would take away your drive, don't you think? You'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna end up there. Don't matter what I do, does it?" Let's see if I can find. I had the thing where it had the SpaceX numbers, how much they had lost. Yeah, here it is. Well, this is a comparison. SpaceX is valued at 1.8 trillion. Walmart is valued at 920 billion. SpaceX revenue 18 billion. Walmart revenue 713 billion. Walmart does 40 times the revenue. SpaceX is worth nearly double. Let that sink in. Exactly. How is that possible? Anyway, Milo says, why? Why what? I'm a history buff. I wouldn't go look at my past. I mean, are you talking about you have to look at your own life? Because why would you go look at the past when you already know what happened? I thought you meant could I go back to Rome, or could I go back to the Old West, or could I go back to, any of the things that you would like to see from history, or would you go back to feudal Japan so you could see a real life samurais in action, or whatever. I'm saying, why would you want to go back and just look at your past when you already have it in your head? You already know what happened. I'd said, and again, I think seeing your personal future is dangerous. What if you see your own future and you don't like it? I mean, I guess that's like a Christmas Carol type metaphor for, well, you come back and change your life and make it different, or whatever. Or you go to the future and you go, oh, look, I achieved everything I was trying to achieve, And you come back and get lazy. It's like, well, it doesn't matter what I do, because Laura says if you could see the future, you would know where to invest. That's true. Or you know where not to invest. Well, that was a bad idea buying that SpaceX. You never did get to Mars, It's like, yeah, there was something else I was looking for. This guy says it's a scam. It's a move to socialize the risk and inevitable massive losses of an unprofitable company, to shift the burden from billionaires onto the backs of ordinary people and eventually to taxpayers. Some same scam that Anthropic and OpenAI are running. That's what I do think that the unbridled system of capitalism that we are living in now where everything is on paper and theoretical and prospecting into the future and gambling is very dangerous for the future of this country. That's for sure. Um, because I don't know if you know this, but these guys they want to cut all the social programs, even the ones you pay for. Like they're talking about cutting Social Security. You realize you pay into Social Security. Social Security has nothing to do with the deficit or the debt. Social Security is funded by you paying Social Security. But here's something you might not know. A lot of people don't know this, but it's true. If you only pay Social Security taxes up to $185,000. Anything after that, no Social Security. So rich people don't pay into Social Security whatsoever. Social Security is funded off the backs of working people. Period. And that's it. Now, they need to take that away. Well, Elon Musk can have $1 trillion. He doesn't pay into Social Security. Does that seem fair to you? I mean, I don't even understand how we've allowed ourselves to get to this point where, like I said, the system is so corrupt and so obviously slanted toward the rich and powerful, especially now. Mike Young says if you make over $185K, you don't pay Social Security. You pay Social Security up to the $185. Yes, that's in the USA. James says my cousin is gay. Is that okay? For sure. Why wouldn't it be? We have that discussion on this show all the time. Like, I don't understand why people feel the need to control what other people do. If you're not hurting anybody and you want to fucking suck dicks all day, that's your fucking business. Laura says, but do rich people benefit from Social Security? I don't even think that I don't even think that should matter. I mean, anyone can file for it. And like I said, they do pay the rate up to $185,000, but that's all they pay. Mike says he's from Canada. Yeah. Well, you have universal health care and all the things that we don't have. Well, here's something funny. This is funny. You know how they always say in the United States, and people like Mike might say it too. They say, well, we have universal health care, but we got to wait a long time, or whatever. But listen, we don't have universal health care. Right? Because, but my friend has at work, he has a back problem. And he said he can't get in. He needs to get imaging or something done, or he had to go to a doctor and get a referral first. So he had to go do that. And then he was like calling and he had to get a thing. And they said, oh, they can't see him till July or August. So he's got to wait too. So it's no better. The only difference is you're going to get fucked when you fucking go. Then you got to pay. And for Mike, he might have to wait, but then he gets some health care, and he doesn't have to pay for it. Mike Young says it ain't all bad here. It could be better. It used to be better. We're living. Laura says, I'm just wondering if you make over that amount, can you still get a Social Security check every month? I believe you can because, like I said, you're still paying. They still tax you up to $185,000, but that's it. So what? So let's say you make $1 million a year, right? So your first, so that would be, let's say you make $1.2 million just to make it easy, and say you get $1 million, $100,000 check every month, right? That means that your first month pay, you would pay Social Security on that, and then when you yeah, but and then when you get to, like I said, the next month, the $85,000 that's of the $100,000 you pay on that, but then the rest of the year you don't pay. Let's see. Mike Young says we do pay for healthcare with our high taxes. Comes off every paycheck. Yeah, but we pay taxes too. That's you know who doesn't pay taxes down here? Rich people. That's my point. Somehow we've set up a system. No, James, I do not like Donald Trump. That's mainly what this show is about. Most of the time. He's a bumblefuck idiot. I don't know how we got to this point. It's like a Carnival Barker show every single fucking day. But Mike, we pay taxes too, but that's my point on this show all the time. We pay taxes, a lot of taxes in this country, and we don't get nothing for it. At least you get something. Mike says, I'm just saying where the money comes from up here for healthcare. Yeah, exactly. And that's where it can come here too. If we just tax these billionaires 5%, they had a whole list of what we could have. We got free community college, free universal health care, free just 5%. Mike Young says, you guys got a corrupt businessman, we got a corrupt banker. Yeah, it's the same shit. But that's what I'm saying. All these so-called democracies. I already told you, James Murphy, I don't like Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I despise him. Anyway, like I said, most of the time that's what this show's about. But I obviously interact with the audience, so the conversation goes wherever you want it to go. But I don't know how we've set up these systems in the Western democracies. It's supposed to be democracies, but it's all the same people. It's all these rich fucking bankers and investment people, and and they're already rich. But all they want to do is figure out ways that they can steal our money from the fucking from the piggy bank that is the taxpayers. James says, okay, me and you too. Oh, you hate him too. Good. Well, welcome to the show. I'm here 3 times a week to talk about what's going on. Like I said, he wants to force them to. Yes, Mike, the UK is corrupt as well. That's what I'm saying. All these democracies, they're not democracies. I mean, you see, every Western democracy is Hungary is like a small example of what every Western country seems to be headed towards. It either they self-correct or they go all the way down into the Orban fucking black hole and they let these guys fucking rape the whole country until everyone gets so sick of it that they vote them out. That's why Trump is trying to fuck around with the fucking votes now, because he knows he's going to lose in these midterms. The Democrats going to take control of the Congress and then he's going to get checked again. See, Donald Trump's broken the country by stacking the Congress with nutlickers that have abdicated their power. The Congress is just a rubber stamp for Trump. There's no checks or balance or anything. Mike says, I figured that out when I was 16 and got my first paycheck. Yeah, right? I'm old, dude. When I started working, it was like, I can't even remember, but the minimum wage was so low. It was like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It was like, I don't know, $375 or some shit. Especially, and I was had a teenage work permit too, so they could pay me even less. I don't think they could pay any less than minimum wage, but at that time the minimum wage was like $375 or something, and then about 10 or 15 years later they raised it to like 5 something. Of course, Mike, who hasn't seen The Simpsons unless you live in a closet, they raised it to like $5.25, and then it took another 20 years for it to raise it to what it is now, which is like 7 something. And think about that. The minimum wage for a long time was yeah, everybody says that, Mike. The minimum wage for a long time was less than $10 an hour. And in the meantime, CEO pay and what's going up 500% or some shit. And these guys, these people. You ever see these, like when they fire a CEO, right? They go, oh, the CEO was terrible. They had to fire him. They had to give him $50 million walking out the door for sucking at his job or her job. I remember Carly Fiorina. Remember her? She ran for president once. See, Mike says minimum wage in his province is $18.40. Yes. And how long has that been? Well, they said they wanted to raise the minimum wage to $10 an hour, and everyone down here fucking had a fit. Conservatives. Thank you, James. James says if I ran for president, he would vote for me. Thank you. I did kind of run for president. Like, I don't know, it was like the first time Trump was running, I guess around 2016. There was at that time, that was before I got banned for life. I was pretty big on Facebook, and there was a campaign for me to run for president. Mike says it goes up every year. See what I mean, though? Because it should. Minimum wage was not adjusted for inflation in this country for over 25 years. And even when they raised it this time, they didn't raise it for inflation. They just raised it to an arbitrary number. 10, I think it's 10. Some states have changed it to 20. But everybody was like, oh, you're going to crash the economy. Mike says when a Subway sandwich costs $16, it doesn't sound so great, though, unfortunately. Right? Exactly. Or the gas. That's what I'm saying about this situation. Like, Trump trying to act all tough, but really Trump is in a corner. If they had said if these reserves run out, the price of oil is going to jack. They've used up all of their shot their wad, so to say, about how long they can hold out with that strait not being open. That's why Trump's like, we got to open up that strait tomorrow. They got to start filling them tanks back up. As if they don't, like I said, they're going to not be able to even pump oil. It becomes an unusable sludge, they said. Mike Young says, what's going to happen with Tesla and Google looking for $200 billion in stock? Yeah, I don't know. All these companies are going up. AI's next. Anthropic and Altman's company was OpenAI or whatever. Like, they're going public next. All this money is going into these companies, and not all these companies are going to make money. This is a dangerous bubble that we're sitting on, like I said. And also, that's the reason why the stock markets have stayed relatively high, considering even the war and all this other shit that's going on, is because all this artificial inflation in the AIs. There's billions, trillions. Well, now there's trillions. Now SpaceX is trillions. But SpaceX and his fucking shitty AI company are the same thing. You know that, right? He merged those companies together before he did this public. That's what this is about, is propping up his SpaceX doesn't make money, right? And he needs public money to prop up his shitty AI companies. Musk is going to, it seems like he's on top, but everything he's got is a fragile fucking unfuck the world says. Stocks are cool, but I invented sex. Well, congratulations. How old are you, my friend? You must be very old. Mike says gas is $2.60 a liter here right now. Yes, and well, the liter is not a gallon, first of all, because you use a metric system. And he says our gallon is slightly different than yours, but with currency conversion, we're probably paying around $7 or $8 American equivalent for a gallon of regular gas. Yeah, so you're paying like California prices. 6 million years young. He was an extra in Quest for Fire. So, like I said, you're paying $7 or $8 a gallon. I was getting ready to ask you that. Just $2.60. That's Canadian money. So how much is that to a dollar? And then how many liters are in a gallon? There's all kinds of math that's got to get done. Unfuck the World says, man, I just want a house and a garden. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I think that's what everybody wants. That's why I said all the time on this show is I don't understand why human beings can't get their shit together, because when you talk to people, they generally all want the same thing. But that's what all this shit is about. All the culture bullshit. Because when people have ran out of actual ideas of how to run the world in a in a good and efficient manner, they sell you this cultural bullshit, which is set to divide us so that we don't get all together and realize that they're fucking us all. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I'm in British Columbia. I'm not sure the currency difference right now. I just estimated. Right? Like I said, you'd have to do math and shit, but you're probably right. I mean, I think there's at least 2 liters in a gallon, don't you imagine? He says Mexico probably has a par dollar with us right now. Yeah, but our dollar ain't worth that much anymore right now either. People aren't talking about that either. Like, the value of the dollar is not what it was. And our debt is above the GDP now. Ain't nobody talking about that either. That's what's funny when you watch this corporate media. Like, all this shit is going on and they don't talk about that at all. CNN, it doesn't matter which one you watch. Fox, they're all just reality TV shows, just with different slants, but they're not really talking about the substances of anything. They're all just fucking spitting off talking points. They're acting like they're having a discussion, but if you watch these discussions, a lot of it's not discussion. They're just people that are on there rattling off what they were told to say. Mike says China is amping up production in Mexico to avoid your tariffs. They're just building things south of your border and shipping it across the line. Yeah, I know. Unfuck the World says the sad thing is that this is just history repeating itself. DuPont-style stock manipulation that led to the Great Depression and subsequently World War II, which leads to more profits for the DuPont Corporation. Yeah, pretty much. And just like all these Nazi companies that are still around. Like, oh, they built a bunch of stuff for Nazis, but Volkswagen and Mercedes and all these companies, they're still around. Hugo Boss designed the Gestapo uniforms. Literally. That's true. Why do you think they look so stylish? Unfuck the World says, and then there is the business plot. Trump is just Smedley Butler, but dumber and more morally bankrupt. Yes, exactly. But see, I think that these other countries have realized that they made a deal with the devil. Not necessarily the devil, but you know what I mean. It's like Trump is not trustworthy. Trump is not reliable. Trump is not strong like he projects himself to be. He's a weak person who's easily manipulated, and he doesn't know much about anything. So once he gets into something, he doesn't really know what to do. He's running this country just like he bankrupted all of them businesses. It's easy to say, I'm going to build a casino. It's harder to actually run one, which he actually found out when he bankrupted a casino. Maybe the only person in the history of the world who bankrupted a fucking casino. But House always wins, except it Trump's. Unfuck the World says the DuPont Corporation broke regulations to give the Nazi supplies during World War II, but they also tanked Japan's silk market, which led to Pearl Harbor. The rape of Nanking was done with DuPont branded supplies and weaponry. Yeah, some. It was also the oil. They were going to cut off Japan's oil. And that pissed them off. That's another reason why they did Pearl Harbor. But yeah, you're right. There was lots of double dealing going on in World War II. And then even after the war, when we brought all the fucking Nazi scientists over here because we needed them to fucking build our war machine. So we forgave them and brought them over here, gave them all passports, asylum. Mike says the Teflon was supposed to be used to cover tanks, if I remember properly. They knew it was poison and made pots and pans with them. Yes. Yes, they did. There's this show on the History Channel with Henry Winkler called Dangerous History or something like that. It's about all the fucking dumb shit they did. That was in there when they were talking about they sold all these cookware to people and people were getting cancer everywhere. They didn't put two and two together like, oh, it's this Teflon skillet. Anybody go to jail? Nope. That's like that's what I mean. Is like the older you get, the more you look through everything and you realize that the American system is just, I mean, it's not even the American system. The world system, the capitalist system is set up to protect these industrialists, these rich people, and they can kill massive amounts of people and never get in trouble. They can poison the water of a whole town. They can, here there was a place called Fernald where they fucked with uranium, right? And all the uranium it got in the ground around here. And the cows were eating the grass, which had uranium, and they were milking these cows, and everybody was drinking this milk, and everybody was getting cancer around here. And they figured out, like, oh, it was Fernald. They're dumping uranium dust somewhere, and it was getting into the ground and getting into the grass, and then the cows are drinking it. Did anybody go to jail? Did anyone get in trouble? No. There you go. Oh, sorry. About these fracking places that frack up the place so much that people's faucets were fucking shooting fire out of them. Shit, did you ever see that? Now it's data centers that are making the water so dirty that this woman turned on the water. It was like brown water coming out of her fucking faucet. And then she posted about it on Facebook. The cops came and arrested her. I think it was in Texas. These corporations, these companies, they never get in trouble for anything. Like we were talking about the Reagan administration, right? The Reagan administration sold weapons to Iran. Speak of the devil. Right? They sold missiles to Iran that they weren't who's classified as an enemy of this country, by the way. They sold missiles to Iran clandestinely, then took the money secretly and used it to finance guerrilla armies in Central America to overthrow governments down there. The Contras against the Sandinistas or whatever, like, they got caught, right? Had congressional hearings and all that shit. And what happened? Nothing. Someone go to jail, prison? No, it's treason, really, isn't it? Sell weapons to your own enemies. Under the table, not tell the Congress. Virgo for you says, bro, you a gay fish walking. I'm not gay, bro. No, it's hard to believe, but I'm not. I got a girlfriend. She's on her way here tonight. We're going out on a date. An actual female. Oh, I hardly ever say this, and I didn't. Hey, Devin, I do on occasion. I was fucking screaming, yelling in metal bands for a long time. If you just stumbled on this show today, I said I'm here 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern usually, but I'm here, like I said, early today because we're going out to see The Lion King, which, Virgo, does sound gay, I admit. Like, I'm not gay, but I'm going to see The Lion King later. Laura says it's hard to believe that I'm not gay. I don't know. But but I definitely am not. Mike Young says, you don't like fish sticks in your mouth. Those are the greatest episodes. But yeah, but what I don't understand is how we let ourselves get to this point. Right? It seemed like for a second that we were really steering ourselves to a better place, right? When we passed Obamacare and all this stuff, and you go, hey man, we're getting close to maybe making a better fucking place for us. And nope, we turned right back around, ran right back to the crash the economy fascism. Fuck yourself. Fuck the world says, I like my women like I like my men. A big old love sausage to go with the cuddles. So maybe I am gay a little. Bisexual. Right? The fucking greedy fucks who want to fuck everybody. Or just keeping your options open. Yeah. I always thought that was the strangest. Like, pick a fucking team, man. I don't care what team you pick, but pick one. You can't fuck everyone. Like, it's just greedy. Mike says, like when Randy Marsh in the town had an Obama election party, destroyed the town, woke up pissed off the next day. Yeah, exactly. No, but that's when all this started. I say that all the time on this show. Like I said, that Unfuck the World says, I'll fuck anyone except billionaires. They seem to do the fucking. Jimmy says, why are Republicans obsessed with gay people? It's creepy. Right? It's because they're all secretly gay. That's how that you fucking. They say every time there's a Republican event that they crash the grinder. And they're the ones that are always like, remember that guy? I don't know if you remember that this was a long time ago now, but there was a senator who was totally rabidly anti-gay, and then they caught him like sucking dicks at the truck stop or something. Or he was like tapping people's foot in the fucking bathroom, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got a wide stance, he was saying. It's like, no, you're. Hey, Pix, you broke the streak. It's been a while since I had to use the sign, but nope, not a Jew, and not gay. Wrong on 2 accounts. Jimmy says Republicans should be forced to watch every gay scene in Alexander the Great or Caligula. Saladius says, I proclaim the name of Jesus Christ over Islam and the false prophet Muhammad. Islam will never take over the nations of USA or the city of Houston. Praise God. What the fuck's that even mean? Ain't nobody trying to take over Houston? Where does this shit come from? Unfuck the World says, they hate us because they don't have the same kind of community we have. Acceptance, confidence, they can't have that. And their traditional values, it's marriage to being an outcast. Yeah, but they don't have traditional values. They're the ones that are always getting caught fucking with little kids and doing all kinds of secret gay shit. Yes, Lars, it's been a while since I had to break out the sign. No, Mike Young. What I'm saying, he says, did Obama start more wars than any other American president in history? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not from there. No, he didn't. What I'm saying is, no. What you might? I didn't finish my thought, I guess, and you didn't. I didn't finish what I was saying, which is, Barack Obama is the one who woke up all these white supremacists and got the Klan people to take their fucking hoods off and just start walking around in the street. Because, and I've said this before, that's when they started saying fuck the Constitution as well. They said, well, if the Constitution got us to a black president, then we don't want it anymore. And that's when they started going authoritarian and going and really embracing the fascism. And then they started, like I said, systematically cleaning out the Congress and electing nut-licking fascists who would just go along with the president. And it's a whole thing. Like they said, the Project 2025 was real. They had a whole plan how they were going to do this. And people in this country are so fucking stupid. It was all there. But people in this country don't read. If they do read, they don't understand what they're being read unless somebody tells them what it means. So I never understood church. I'm like, well, I gotta listen to this guy read a fucking book to me that I can read myself. This guy's gonna tell me what he thinks this fucking thing means. You know, I can't figure out for myself. Unfuck the World says he rustled their panties and gave him a big twist. They didn't like a black man as president. Even Chuck Norris threw a fit and called him the Antichrist. No, that's what I'm saying is their closet racism just busted right out of the closet. You know. No, I don't think 9/11 was an inside job, Mike. I do think it's possible, though, that much like the rumors about Pearl Harbor, that maybe they knew that something was going to happen and they didn't really do anything about it. You know, because there were several warnings that they ignored. Now, that is a matter of public record, either by incompetence or willfully ignored. You know, if they would have started checking into it, they might have probably stopped it, but they didn't. But no, I don't ever think it was an inside job. See, I don't think anything that big cannot be. You can't keep it a secret. I mean, you see it, like, you can't keep it a secret between 5 fucking people. Yeah, Selenia, but that's the easy black and white version. You know, there's lots of reasons why. And we're not innocent. Just like the people that say, we've been in a war with Iran for 50 years. You know, it's like, well, why is that? It's like, oh yeah, because we overthrew their government. They didn't take kindly to that, but no one ever brings that part up. That like Iran didn't exist before 1972 or whatever. Like, oh no, it did. And it was a democratic country. But the president wanted to nationalize the oil, and they said, oh no. And the CIA went in there and threw over the government, put it in a puppet show. And that's what gave you the Islamic government. But see, they don't want to talk about that because that's one thing we're good at in the United States is not taking responsibility for anything we fucking do. Right, Mike? I've seen that too, those stories about the Titanic. Unfuck the World says it was done as a lash out against imperialism and globalization for the industrialization of certain regions. Yes, and also because Osama bin Laden said it out loud is because we have a military presence in Saudi Arabia, which is their holy land. It would be like if they set up military bases in Jerusalem or Israel or something. You know what I mean? Like to them, it was that offensive. And to some, still is, I would imagine. Mike says, I don't dive too deep in that shit, but wild to hear the theories. I like to listen. What do you mean, Selenia? You appear to be quite the bigot. I know a lot of Indians, and they're all right. Now I don't know about their system. I've said that a million times. The caste system is ridiculous. It's just all these systems are holdovers from hundreds of thousands of years. You know, it's like these systems, they don't work anymore. Jimmy says, go read about the Spanish Inquisition. How many people did Christians murder? Yes, exactly. People, you know me, Jimmy. People are allowed to have their fucking opinions, but like I said, she seems very slanted, coming right out of the box. We like open-minded people on this show. We like to talk about things, and the Indians. I'll say this: the Indian country has been around for 1,000 years. Been around a lot longer than us. Unfuck the World says, I don't know why people blame the Muslims for these issues. I don't condone terrorism, but as far as I know from people who worked under intelligence agencies in the region, it was all over resources. It's why some countries burn their oil fields. Yes, exactly. But it's how it's always been. That's why I was laughing about the people talk about Western civilization. They're like, Western civilization, what? Western civilization, most brutal shit ever. I was listening to this morning on the way to work. Danielle had a show about when the English went to Australia and fucking killed all the Aborigines. They wiped out almost 90% of the population. And that's why they talk like this, mate. They fucking stole the country just like they did here. But yeah, somehow they get away. That's what I said, is that we don't take responsibility for anything we do. We act like, oh, it just... oh, we just control everything because we're so smart and wily. It's like, no, it's because we're fucking evil fucks that'll kill you and just take your shit. That's like... That's why I don't understand. Like, people don't always talk about Jews, right, Jimmy? But like, Jews don't go around trying to fucking convince everybody to be a Jew. You gotta be born into it, man. I mean, you can convert, but it's not easy. It's a difficult process. They make it rigorous so that you know that it's fucking true. Someone Fuck the World speaks it as well. Hey, man, thank you, Mike. Hey, listen, like the channel, subscribe to the show. I'm glad you hung out. I love to have different people from all over the world chiming in here so that we can get different perspectives on things. And like I said, I'm just a guy that's watching all this shit. And, you know, I feel like it needs to be discussed. Usually I would be discussing it on stages somewhere, but I can't do that anymore. Jimmy says, I have no belief whatsoever in conversion to Judaism, and I never will. No, but I'm saying there are people who do. Unfuck the World says, I come from a mixed Muslim and Jewish family, and not once did any side try to get me to choose. Yeah, right. You should have fucking went black sheep, Unfuck the World, and became like a Southern Baptist. Yes, please, I said, Mike. I said, like the channel, subscribe to the show. I'm here Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. Speaking of that, I got to get out of here soon. They said we're going to see The Lion King. Laura's been looking forward to it for a while, and I look forward to giving her that experience. Unfuck the World laughs. Like, yeah, you see what I'm saying? That's just true. You should have been like, I'm becoming a Pentecostal. Like, whipped out a rattlesnake out of your pocket. Start speaking in tongues. Jimmy says, yeah, I know, but overpopulation in Israel is a problem. There should be a DNA test to move there. Well, that's what, right, and that's why they're trying to take the West Bank as well. But that's what I mean. So what are you gonna do with the Palestinians? This is the real question. No one's asking anymore. They just seem to be like in limbo, weird limbo, where they're just living in tents and it's in fucking rubble, and nobody seems to have a plan for what's gonna happen. Like, what happens? Israel just left them there and went on to Lebanon. That's what I mean. It's like we're really good at creating these problems, but we're not really good at solving them, are we? You know, that's the real fucking problem. It's like this agreement. You know, this agreement is not an agreement at all. It's called a memorandum of understanding, which means that it just fires up a 60-day window for them to talk about these issues and for them to open up the strait and for them to lift the blockade. But the war is not over. It's not like, oh, it's a... Jimmy says no one should be allowed to just convert to a religion, move to Israel, and bulldoze a house in Gaza. Right, exactly. I agree 100%. Jimmy says I'm far from Zionist. Sure. Zionism is extremism. The Zionists are no different than fucking the Mujahideen or Hezbollah or whatever else. It's the same thing. It's an army of God, but you know, only they're Jewish and not Muslims. But it's the same fucking shit. They believe in domination and taking the shit, you know, because that's what God wants. You know that. That's the problem. I think that if you ask God, He'd want you to fucking work this out. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just an optimist, but anyway, I said I got to get out of here. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming back, Jimmy. I said thank you again, Jimmy, for not leaving when that one fucking asshole was here that day. I really, and I said, I really respect you and your opinion when you're hanging out here. Jimmy says if the person does not have Jewish DNA, if their family was not in the Holocaust, they have no right to be in Israel. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I thought that's what Israel was set up for, was a place for where the Holocaust people could go and they could establish their own place where they would be safe. You know, but who knew it was going to turn into all this, you know? And again, usually most things start like that. It's like, oh, this seems like a good idea at the time. Thank you, Jimmy. I really appreciate that. He says I'm his favorite on YouTube. Thank you. I really do appreciate that because there's millions of things on YouTube. You don't have to spend your time here. That's what I mean. I appreciate it too. I'm very grateful. And again, I say I have to get out of here because I'm taking Laura to see The Lion King. But again, if you just came here today, you just stumbled upon me somehow, and you never seen this show before, I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. If you want to send me a private message, it's Bruce Leonard Leans Left at Outlook.com. Hopefully I'll get my Facebook account back in the next day or so. And if not, I guess I just have to start a new one. So if you follow me, if you're still watching, Ken, spread the word. And I might have to start a new one. Yes, Jimmy, you are correct. I agree 100%. He says if their family wasn't in it and they have no Hebrew DNA, they shouldn't be able to live there. Like a Native American reservation, if you're not Native, you can't live there. I agree 100%. I think that's how it should have been, and that's how it should be. But if you haven't, please like the channel, subscribe to the show. Like I said, one more time, I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. Hopefully when I come back Tuesday at 6 o'clock, we'll have more clarity on the war situation, but I doubt it. Hopefully Trump doesn't shoot off a nuke in that time. But again, I appreciate everyone that hangs out here, especially you, Jimmy. And Blue Apollo, he wasn't here today, but there are some of you guys that I said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a show, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll be back Tuesday, 6 p.m. Go out and enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Good night. Until that day, I'll keep my eyes shut tight. I do not want to pick a fight. I feel